Welcome to Retirement Legacy with Jason LaBarge. Jason has been helping families in the Baltimore area plan for a successful retirement. Jason LaBarge of LaBarge Financial will help you learn about strategies for creating income in retirement, managing your wealth, and minimizing taxes. Welcome to Retirement Legacy with Jason LaBarge.
There's just no way around it. More people seem to be retiring than ever these days. It's great to see those around us reach those well-deserved golden years, but it does come with some major concerns, including a massive strain on our retirement system. Thanks for joining us today on Retirement Legacy with Jason LaBarge. He is the founder of LaBarge Financial. And Jason, great to see you today. This is going to be a good conversation.
Thank you, Jen. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, because there are so many people retiring. We're in this kind of a surge of thousands of people retiring each and every day, right?
We really are. 4 million Americans a year are retiring on average. That's 11,000 people per day. And that surge will continue to the end of 2027.
Yeah, those are some big numbers there when you're thinking about how many people are retiring and then tapping into our retirement system. So let's talk about the impact there when we think about what are the impacts?
Sure. Well, the systems have been in place for decades. And when we look at Social Security, it was enacted in 1935. And the life expectancy of a male in 1935 was 58 years old. So we have a system where people can't even access it till age 62. And think about it, the United States at the time, it was the largest tax increase in the history of the country. Wow. That a benefit for most of the men in the country at the time weren't even going to receive. So It tells us that it was never designed to be a retirement program like it is today.
Yeah, and let's talk a little bit about Social Security as an income source because, so few people have pensions today. That's a whole other area that makes it really different for today's retirees.
It absolutely is. When you look back to October 1929, we had the stock market crash that led to the Great Depression. 5% of Americans actually had money in the stock market in October 1929 because they were on pensions. So we were a pension-based society. You fast forward to 1987, another significant day of a stock market crash. 75% of Americans had money in the stock market in 1987. So we saw over a 50-year time frame a big increase away from the pension onto the 401k system. So which is making Americans lean more and more heavily on things like Social Security and their own savings.
Right, and that's the other thing about this wave of people retiring. We're starting to have people retiring with just that 401k rather than that pension that you were talking about. So that's really changed things for people as they go into retirement, right?
It really has. And that's one of the things that makes Maryland such a great state for retirement planning. We are one of the unique areas that has a significant amount of our retirees that still have a pension. So having a background and understanding what types of benefits and things are involved with the pension is important. But it's diminishing more and more as we get to younger workers. So the focus has definitely been placed more on your 401k and your own personal savings.
Okay, there's one other thing I want to go back to because you mentioned something about back when Social Security first started, the average life expectancy was in the late 50s, is that right?
58.
So let's talk about that as another factor for people who are retiring today because we're living a lot longer lives these days.
We definitely are. I mean, if you think about it, 1935 is not that long ago. Really, it's really not one generation, 2 generations ago. So going from a 58 life expectancy for a male till today, the U.S. government has us at 82. I want to say for a female, 84 or 82 for a male, 84 for a female, and that's the national average, right? So if you're in a more affluent background, we have access to more healthcare. That number is growing even more. Where I think I've read that the largest or the most growing part of the population is your centenarians. Yeah. That's the fastest growing part of the population. And so we're seeing people age and stay in retirement longer and longer every year.
That's right. And if you live to be a centenarian, you turn 100 years old, you still have to have income. So that's why these conversations are so important when we think about Social Security, we think about our income in retirement. We got to be thinking about longevity.
It's interesting. People fear running out of money, and it's a valid fear point. But what they should be fearing is running out of income. Because you can spend all the savings that you have, right? You can spend it going on vacations, doing all that fun thing. But if you run out of income, then you don't have your monthly bills paid, because it isn't as if when you retire, your monthly bills just end. So it's not a fear of necessarily running out of money, it's running out of income.
Right. A real challenging time for so many people as they make this transition, because retirements, if we're living longer, that means our retirements are lasting longer. There's just a lot to plan for and prepare for everybody, right?
Yes, there is. And having a professional to help prioritize, make sure you're making the right decisions. Because I would say my job as a financial planner is to help you come up with the plan, and then we implement we put the investments in place to implement the plan. And that's only the first part. Once we've done that, then we walk through life together and we measure the decisions that we have to make in life and how they impact the plan. And the longer that we're doing that, it's going to make it more important that we have that plan from the start as robust as we possibly can.
All right, I think that's a great topic, and I think we should carry this over to the other side of the break. So coming up next, we'll cover some of the ways that you can plan ahead and feel more confident in this peak retirement era. And later in the More Than Money Minute, Jason will share some tips for how to make your way back down the retirement mountain after you've reached the summit. There's much more coming up on Retirement Legacy, so stay with us.
They say knowledge is power. Whatever you're doing, whatever your goals are, you'll probably never say you know too much. The same is true with retirement. The more you know, the more prepared you'll be for everything in store. And we've made it easy to get started. This free offer is packed with knowledge to help answer some of retirement's biggest questions. It's our gift to you. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Act now and claim your free offer today.
More is usually better, but not when it comes to taxes in retirement. Tax rates might seem high right now, but these could be the lowest rates you ever see again. Think how that could impact your retirement. The good news is there are strategies you can take advantage of now to help lower your tax bill later and help get the most out of what you've saved for retirement. But don't delay. Time is limited and rates could rise soon. So act now to get your free tax analysis. Help uncover hidden savings and optimize your income in retirement. Take action and claim your free tax analysis now.
In life, it's good to know what you have to work with. Knowing how many nails you have before building that birdhouse. Knowing how much sugar you have before starting to bake the cake. But do you know how much income you'll be able to count on in retirement? Retirement savings are one thing, but knowing how those savings can turn into income is another. Are you confident you know what your retirement income will look like? Call our team and get a free income analysis today. We can show you what you might expect for income in retirement. Find out now so you won't have to wonder later. Call for your free analysis today.
Thanks for joining us today. Back with Jason LaBarge, and today we're talking about a major trend in retirement. Right now we are in the biggest wave of new retirees in our nation's history, and this is having a significant impact on soon-to-be retirees across the country. And as we think about, Jason, the people who are making this transition, what are some things for people to keep in mind during this record-breaking retirement wave? What kinds of things should they be checking off their to-do list?
First and foremost, it's solidifying your income.
Okay.
Right? When we think about retirement planning, to put a focus around it, we want to start with income. At LaBarge Financial, we have a concept that we call red money, green money. And it's very simple. Red money is our investments that carry more risk associated with them. Things like stocks, mutual funds, things like that. And we balance that with green money, which are going to be things that have more protection related to them. Investments like CDs, treasuries, fixed annuities. And we split green money into two further categories. One is guaranteed income, and the second is guaranteed of principal. So when we're initially building your plan to make sure we're focusing on income, we really want to zero in on that guaranteed income category. And in Maryland, we're fortunate enough, we have a lot of our retirees have pensions. So pensions are going to fall under that category. as is Social Security. Now, we like to use the word guaranteed with those types of programs, but like we've talked about, they're strain. So we can only guarantee those in as much as we have faith in the backers that are paying those. But in addition to that, we can have things like fixed annuities, U.S. Treasuries. Those types of investments can also provide income. And in the case of annuities, annuities can have a guaranteed for life income component to them. So the trick is determining how much you need. We call it doing the B word, right? We got to have a budget. And so it starts out with identifying how much money do you need each month. And then we can work backwards, right? We can determine what your Social Security benefits are going to be. We can determine what your pension benefits are going to be. And then if there's an additional need for income each month, that's when we'll look to the private market, to things like annuities, treasuries, et cetera, to try to fill that gap. So then we know when we have market downturns, when we have economic turmoil, you know each month that you're getting that monthly income and that it's paid out for life. So that's a big focus at Labarge Financial, making sure that your income is established first and foremost. And then our red money can be our inflation hedge, right? We're looking for upside there because inflation is one of our biggest hurdles that we're trying to combat as we're focusing living longer, et cetera. So red money is there to be our money for down the road, 5 and 7 and 10 years down the road. And so we can have those investments in things that carry a little bit more risk because we know we're not going to be utilizing that money, hopefully, for the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. When you're working with maybe a married couple,
Sure.
we're talking about the red money and the green money.
Sure.
What happens if you've got one who's more comfortable with more red money
Sure.
and one who is more interested in more of that green money? How do you find that balance?
Absolutely. So again, the first trick is determining how much money do you need each month.
Okay.
When you're married, we no longer think about this is his money, this is her money, when really it's our money. The categories or the registration of the accounts still remain in one person's name because we have to do it that way. But when we think about it as our money, it doesn't so much matter who's allocated to red, who's allocated to green. But even when we've established a firm monthly income number, that's when nuance comes in. That's when people's risk tolerance focuses in on this because you might have a couple that wants to be more conservative. You may have a couple that wants to be more aggressive. And we've got to find a balance within a couple and within the portfolio itself, what's going to be the right balance between red and green.
Yeah, sounds like there's really no wrong answers there.
There's no
it's
wrong
just
answer.
having that conversation. And I think that is what really shows the benefit of working with someone
Yes.
to help navigate this and find that right balance for
Yes.
each person that you're working with, right?
It seems today more than ever, we want to make blanket statements about things. We want to have somebody tell us a blank statement about things.
You always say that.
We're just looking for people to tell us what to do. And we can't do that. There's nuance. One of my favorite words is nuance because all of us, there's nuance to us. There's individuality, holistic, and so the benefits of working with a professional is determining what those nuances are, what the priorities are, and then finding a right balance. And that's really a key with what we do at Labarge Financial is working with folks individually and trying to strike that appropriate balance.
Right. And there's all different types of financial professionals.
Sure.
People talk to people about their taxes, their investments at the bank, about insurance. But really, you're talking about this from the lens of someone who focuses on retirement.
We do. And at Labarge Financial, we like to think we have a one-stop shop. We have strategic partners that we have partnered with that focus on estate planning, that focus on tax planning, because what might be good for the portfolio may not be good for the tax return. What might be good for the tax return may not be good for the estate. And so when we're making decisions, we want to make sure we have all the proper resources in place. So at our firm, we've got strategic partners, not only on estate planning and taxes, but also on Medicare and Social Security. We've got the appropriate professionals to help address what I think is the full service or the full needs of today's retiree.
Yeah, a lot of different components that need to come together. So appreciate those insights there.
Absolutely.
All right. Straight ahead, after years of building up your savings and reaching the retirement summit, how do you make your way back down the mountain? Jason will explain that next in the More Than Money Minute. And still to come, Jason answers your most pressing retirement questions. You're watching Retirement Legacy.
Your dream car, the open road, and freedom. It's just one turn away. Or so you thought. Even when things look good, hidden problems can ruin your plans. Think of your retirement. At first glance, your investments might seem solid, but under the hood, what kind of risk are you exposed to? And what about taxes, income, healthcare costs? Don't let your retirement dreams stall out. Act now and get your free risk analysis to help keep you in the retirement fast lane.
More is usually better, but not when it comes to taxes in retirement. Tax rates might seem high right now, but these could be the lowest rates you ever see again. Think how that could impact your retirement. The good news is there are strategies you can take advantage of now to help lower your tax bill later and help get the most out of what you've saved for retirement. But don't delay. Time is limited and rates could rise soon. So act now to get your free tax analysis. Help uncover hidden savings and optimize your income in retirement. Take action and claim your free tax analysis now.
Today's More Than Money Minute, Jason helps guide you back down the retirement mountain. Jason?
Thanks, Jen. In this week's More Than Money Minute, we're going to talk about the retirement mountain. And the best way to talk about the retirement mountain is to talk about Mount Everest. And if you ask yourself, who was the first person to summit Mount Everest? That person was Sir Edmund Hillary. But would you be surprised to learn that Sir Edmund Hillary was not the first in his party to reach the top of the mountain? Other climbers reached the top before him, but what they were not able to do, which is the most important thing, was to get back down the mountain. Many of us think all we need to do is get up, we need to save, we get to the top, we retire, and then we think to ourselves, it's over, right? Well, the challenge is only ahead of you because now you have to get down the mountain. And what did Sir Edmund Hillary say was the number one factor, the primary reason he was able to both get up and down the mountain? You might take a couple minutes, you might say oxygen, you might say that he had a plan. But what you might not be able to say is what he actually attributed it to was his Sherpa. His Sherpa's name is Tenzing Norgay. What does a Sherpa do? A Sherpa climbs the mountain with you, carries your stuff, looks at the weather, makes a determining factor on which route you should take. Sir Edmund Hillary said that he wouldn't have been able to get both up and down the mountain without his guide, his Sherpa. Why are we talking about this? Well, you spend the first part of your life accumulating assets. You're putting money away in your 401k. You're putting it into an IRA. You're making sure that you're getting all the growth that you possibly can because you are in the accumulation phase. You think the destination is retirement. That is not the destination. That is the first stop along the way. You're growing. You're getting as much growth as you can. You then hit the top of the mountain. You put the flag down. You retire. And then you got to tell yourself what? Now it's time to head down. In retirement planning, we call that the distribution phase. And that's really the area of financial planning that I specialize in. Here we're looking at things like preservation. We're looking at things like healthcare costs and the impact they're going to have on your portfolio. We're looking for things like longevity risk. How long am I going to live? All those types of things are important factors in your distribution phase. Now, while all this might sound difficult, you might even get worried that, hey, how the heck am I going to go up and down the mountain? Well, guess what? At LaBarge Financial, we can put a plan together for you so you're prepared both to get up the mountain, put the flag down, and then head back down into retirement. Let's go back to you, Jen.
Thanks, Jason. Now, do you have a question about retirement? Don't go anywhere. Jason can help with the answers. That's coming up in our Q&A segment. Retirement Legacy continues right after this.
They say knowledge is power. Whatever you're doing, whatever your goals are, you'll probably never say you know too much. The same is true with retirement. The more you know, the more prepared you'll be for everything in store. And we've made it easy to get started. This free offer is packed with knowledge to help answer some of retirement's biggest questions. It's our gift to you. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Act now and claim your free offer today.
More is usually better, but not when it comes to taxes in retirement. Tax rates might seem high right now, but these could be the lowest rates you ever see again. Think how that could impact your retirement. The good news is there are strategies you can take advantage of now to help lower your tax bill later and help get the most out of what you've saved for retirement. But don't delay. Time is limited and rates could rise soon. So act now to get your free tax analysis. Help uncover hidden savings and optimize your income in retirement. Take action and claim your free tax analysis now.
Your dream car, the open road, and freedom is just one turn away. Or so you thought. Even when things look good, hidden problems can ruin your plans. Think of your retirement. At first glance, your investments might seem solid, but under the hood, what kind of risk are you exposed to? And what about taxes, income, healthcare costs? Don't let your retirement dreams stall out. Act now and get your free risk analysis to help keep you in the retirement fast lane.
Thanks for joining us on Retirement Legacy with Jason LaBarge. And now it's time to answer some of your retirement questions. This is a fun part of the show. Jason, you ready?
Absolutely.
All right. First question comes from Dana in Severna Park, who asks, I have a 401k with just under $1 million. Do I need to wait to retire until I hit the $1 million mark? Do we need to hit that amount?
So, Jen, a lot of people put the focus on the wrong areas, like trying to hit what I call a top line.
Okay.
Right? When we think about the old saying, it's not what's the top line, it's what's the bottom line, right? So, to me, the $1 million mark here from Dana Severna Park is not necessarily important because we may have a pension that produces a significant amount. We may have a nice amount of Social Security, or their budget might be that they only need a small amount in comparison to others. And so, like we talked about earlier, there's nuance, there's individuality. So I don't know that I would be focusing on the $1 million mark in terms of practical planning. Does it feel good to say things like, I'm a millionaire, I hit the $1 million? Of course it does. And I would commend this person for saving and putting the effort and the sacrifice involved with getting to $1 million. But having that be the benchmark or the finish line, I don't think is what's important. We want to focus on the bottom line in terms of what is that $1 million going to get us in retirement.
Yeah, and maybe some of the strategies to help preserve that are a little bit more important than that amount.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, great insights there. Next question comes from Vince in Arnold. He says, my wife and I are both turning 65 next year. Should we both start taking Social Security at the same time, or should we consider staggering it?
Well, this is a great question. My practice, in large part, was built on Social Security planning. It didn't start that way, though. When clients would first ask me about taking Social Security, I was a deer in the headlights. And I think to some degree, my industry was. For many decades, we did not focus the appropriate amount on Social Security because it's such an important piece to the retirement planning. But like we've talked about earlier, there's nuance, there's individuality, because there's three basic ways a person can get Social Security. You can get what we call your own record, which is what most of us get. That's based on your own working history, and et cetera. The second way is something called the spousal benefit, which is really, you can think of the stay-at-home spouse benefit where the lower earning spouse can receive up to 50% of their spouse's benefit. Then the last way is the survivorship benefit, and this is after a spouse has passed away, and the living spouse gets the higher of the two benefits. So when we think about those three available benefits, we want to maximize those as much as we can. And for each couple, that's going to be different. And oftentimes we lean towards mostly getting our own record, especially if you had two working spouses. And the focus has shifted even since I started my practice. It used to be we would focus on, or we would advise clients on, or suggest to clients that they wait till 70. get the highest amount. I always joke, tell me when you're going to pass away, and I will tell you when to turn on Social Security. Waiting until 70 will get you the highest benefit each month, but you're going to get it for the shortest amount of time. Where that was the thinking in previous years, in large part, our industry has moved to one where you take it as soon as you can. Now, this is going to also have nuance to it. We can't make blanket statements about anybody and everybody's situation, but I've seen some very impressive calculations, spreadsheets, if you will, that are suggesting strongly to take the benefit as soon as you possibly can. Again, without going into too much detail, there's something called IRMAA. Again, you go top line, bottom line. What's more important, the top line or the bottom line? What's more important is your bottom line. So when you look at your Social Security statement, you're looking at the top line number, and most of us will plan around that top line number. That's not the actual number you're going to receive. IRMAA is the cost of Medicare that comes directly from your Social Security check. And so when we're making plans like this, we've got to make sure we're looking at the net payment, not just the gross.
Right. So many different ways that all of these different things can impact each other.
Yes.
And we don't want to overlook that.
Nuance.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nuance.
Let's do another question. This is from Paul in Annapolis, who says, I've heard a lot about Roth conversions, but I think I make too much money to have a Roth IRA unless I'm missing something. What are the rules?
So this has been a very hot topic as of late. We're spending a lot of our time talking about this, calculating on this. The conversion, there is no income limitation. Income limitations only apply to the contribution. Okay. So anybody who makes any amount can convert, but the trick is trying to determine what's the appropriate amount to convert. And we want to make sure a CPA is involved in this decision to make sure we're getting the most appropriate information to make this type of decision. But the Roth conversion is certainly something that we're talking about a lot this year, and I think we will into next year as well.
Yeah. All right. A lot of good questions, a lot of rules that people need to be aware of when it comes to things like the Roth. So thanks for the insights today, Jason. Appreciate your time today. And if you'd like to learn ways to generate lifetime income, potentially reduce your tax bill, and help maintain your lifestyle in retirement, reach out now. Jason and the team are ready to help you start building a retirement plan designed to help you flourish in retirement. For Jason and the team at Labarge Financial, I'm Jen Rizak. We look forward to seeing you next time on Retirement Legacy.